There's Waffle. This commentary is being made more for informational purposes than for entertainment. It's meant for describing why this game should be good at GDQ and information that should be useful for that. It's run and filmed in front of a live Twitch audience, however small it may be. Also, selecting the window is a good idea. So, welcome to Not Another Needle game. This game has very simple controls. Left is left, right is right, shift is jump and double jump, and Z is shoot. These controls are rebindable on the main screen, but yeah, that's up to you. The TNT in the corner is used to remove all spikes on screen, and only spikes. Any other objects will still be there afterwards. But as you can see, you do have a limited use of them. They also aren't available on certain stages. And red blocks kill, yeah. So, the aim of this game is get from the start to the end. That's pretty much it. In my description for this game, I compared it to Super Meat Boy and BBB, and this is a similar reason why. It's like, you have very short screens, more so at the start than the end, but that's also the case for those games. If we could get up there, thank you. And yeah, it's pretty much just making it to the end. There is a minimal plot in this game, but the plot is pretty much what you can see from the text above, who is by Geezer, the guy that made this game, the new Geezer. Pretty much talking to you throughout the whole game. Granted, in the speedrun, you don't really get to see so much of this. Because, especially in the early stages, you're going fast, so you actually get through before he gets to finish talking. So yeah, the first 4 stages of this game are pretty simple. They're pretty much the standard platforming of this. And then after that, from stage 5 to 9, there's various gimmicks that are going on. I mean, this stage does have, like, the light fades, but I mean, there's not really much of a gimmick there. It's like, hey, there's things getting a little darker. Don't take too long. I mean, even in a casual playthrough, the darker light really isn't much of an issue. But yeah, and then stages 5 is conveyor belts, 6 is water, 7 is triple jump, 8 is physics changes, and 9 is telejumping in a sense. But I'll go into more detail when I actually get to those stages themselves. For now, I'm mostly just trying to show off the basics and like how this game platforms. See, there is some very precise platforming involved. Needle is the term in our community for pretty much just like games with a lot of spikes. And there are some tricks you can do, like certain walls you can touch actually make certain jumps easier. Or certain jumps harder if you really want to do that to yourself. In terms of actual tricks, there's not really too much going on in the first couple of stages. There's a couple of screens, but for the most part it's just like do the platforming good. Yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of this commentary that's going to be more focused on just like my general commentary style, which may be looking at people replying in chat at the time and stuff, but yeah. I'll be trying to talk about the game around the start of every stage. Here's a skip. This is actually an achievement in game. You can clip the warp just poking out of the spikes there. You actually get an achievement for it if you haven't done already. And it's actually required in the true end version of this game, which is not what I'm going to be speedrunning at GDQ if this gets in, because I haven't done that yet. I only played this game, well, not too long ago, but enough. So I've been trying to get this as good as I can. My PB currently is about 49.51, I think it is. I don't like running the splits on because seeing all the red and the pluses puts me on edge a bit. Yeah, there's bad end, which is what I'm doing, which is 180 screens. I know Geezer has said it's 100. He is a dirty, dirty liar. Don't trust him, ever. If you want confused end, there's the 180 screens plus secrets plus another 15 afterwards. And true end is all of that from before and then the original 180 flipped. It's a long game. The two people that helped test this game didn't even know about the true end at first. That wasn't even shown to them. It was only shown up to Confused, and they thought that was the end. So when the game released and they saw that, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, people like myself thought that this game was going to end at least 3 separate occasions. This one's a little hard. Got to make sure you don't bonk the ceiling, and then on both your jumps, pretty much. So you got to be very careful. There we go. Yeah, the first few stages up to stage 5 are pretty simple. It's pretty much like here's some spikes. Sometimes there are triggers like that one. It does change things around a bit though. It's pretty interesting. The TNTs, I feel I should say, will be used in stage 6 and stage 7. So we won't be seeing the use of them anytime soon. But yeah. And jump refreshers, because every good fan game needs jump refreshers. Yeah, this game seems like it's going to end at 100 too. Just because... Oops. The creator set it up very well like that. Like, the last 5 floors get pretty, in a sense. It does seem very final. Which I imagine will confuse a lot of people at GDQ when they don't realise that it's not quite going to be as short as they think it is. So I imagine I can get people to believe that it is actually 100 floors for a bit and I'm just not so good at the game. Probably. Granted, my playing skill at the moment is not exactly helping with that. Don't make me actually look incompetent, thank you very much. I will admit I am a little crude in my general commentary style, but for the most part I think I'm pretty good at holding it back, but... I don't know. I'd need to ask about what words are acceptable and what aren't. Don't know, general English crude words like bollocks are exactly acceptable or not. There we go. Yeah, for the most part though, it's just carrying on through the game, dealing with whatever Geezer throws at you, trying your utmost best not to die. Like, the best runs of this game, I think the world record of this is around like 35 minutes. So some people are really good. Like there is a task of this game for doing all achievements with true end, which takes about an hour and 5 minutes. And with secrets, it beats the bad end in about half an hour. The secrets do add quite a bit of time on though. Yeah. I'm sure I could get a confused end and true end run going if it was asked for me, but at this current point in time I haven't done them, so they're not going up on the... Thank you. Let's not die on that. They're going up on the page submissions. Yeah, submissions page. Did I miss a split? I didn't. I did. Well, crud. What's my backsplit button? You. Sure, let's go with 9. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Geezer is what we call a massive troll, indeed. The fact that we thought the game was going to end 3 times in a row kind of shows that. At this stage is the first time you learn about what we call lines. It's pretty much like the kid moves on like 3 pixels a frame, and the game runs at 50 FPS because that's what it does. And like I said, touching certain walls make things easier, and in some cases it make things possible. Feel bad for the mods on this screen. Especially if I mess it up. Oh, come on. There we go. But yeah, there's one trick that will come on later on in this stage, which is, like, the game tells you to touch a certain wall, but you can't actually do the jump without it. Come on, drop strat, thank you. These are Triforces. I realise that Zelda isn't exactly well known in the speedrunning community, but figured that should be mentioned, they're quite important. They aren't important. Ledge jump. There we go, and here's the one that requires you to not take the wall. It does actually make this jump ridiculously hard though. But like in the time it takes me to, well, to focus on when I'm getting through, generally takes about as long as trying to get to the right hand side and back. Yep. And apparently I'm a little nervous trying to do the commentary at the moment, so my apologies for that. There we go. I got it 3 times already pretty quick, that's not too bad. So on the right hand side here, you can actually just hold right against the wall. Giza does tell you this as well, but gotta go fast, can't wait for that. Here's just, yeah. There's a few things you can do here, it's just pretty much just not landing. Like the main way of speeding up a run like this game is pretty much just seeing like how to get as few jumps in as possible. And, like the last screen's pretty good at showing that in a sense, because there are obviously multiple times I could have landed, but gotta go fast. So there's one here, you can just go straight up to this platform if you really want to, but the time gain didn't seem worth it to me and I couldn't quite get it consistently. Oh yeah, because these saves are what we call touch saves in our community again, pretty much just like you touch the save and it auto saves. You can actually touch it and save underneath the block and it saves you a little bit of time if you die like that. Like the majority of saves in these games tend to be you shoot them and they save, but it's just kind of one of the quirks of those kind of saves, so that's death. Damn. No, not again, thank you. Don't need to die on that. So, hit all of the triggers here, warp will unlock in the middle. Every time you hit a trigger, the jump gets a little harder. Well, I don't know, maybe that one's not harder, but still. A little harder. And just getting this right spot for this. And but still have to time the double jump, but the first jump's pretty easy if you just stand in the right place. Come on. There we go. Stutter down these, get over, and more trigger spam, because everybody loves trigger spam. You can't actually, you've got to wait for that one. People have tried going past that thing, but you do have to wait for that spike to go past you first. And there we go. That's the basic needle out of the way. Now we get on to the big things. You're right, Zoe. Running at 50 FPS doesn't have anything to do with the lines, but that was to do with the kid moving. I don't know, I just felt like it was worth mentioning. Alright, welcome to stage 5. What Giza calls the final stage because you think it's 100 floors still. So a 100 floor game is kind of like another like title for some of these games. Like we have games 100 floors long and then you win. That's just how they work. So you think that it's going to be 100 floors long and then, yeah, Giza's a bit of a troll. But yeah, this stage is the first time you see conveyors. The main thing is that all the conveyors will always move at the same speed on the screen. So if you can stop on one side, you'll stop on the other one when you're moving against it. And just reset for the cycles, there we go. And if it's a case like this where they're moving too fast for you, then the others will also move too fast, so nice to have some consistency there. Come on. Yeah, 100 floors is kind of a staple of the genre, I agree. Yeah, oh yeah, the S ranks, yeah, I forgot about that. At the end of every stage, you get a rank based on your speed. Obviously what you want is an S, but I mean an A is acceptable to me for my level of this game at the moment. If you get a B or a C, then that's probably not been a very good stage. Whenever you use a TNT, you do... Nice, this one's a real cloakroom. You really lose a lot of time if you die on it, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway. You do lose a rank if you use a TNT on stage. So on stages 6 and 7, getting an A rank is fine. Getting a B rank is also acceptable. Really? But anything below that is bad. Okay, fine, let's pay a bit of attention here. Just try to pick up the pace a little bit, because I'm starting to get a little behind, I feel. Feel free to skip ahead in the video for a bit. But I think the general idea about the fast-paced part of this game has been made clear so far. It's pretty much 180 floors of you trying to go through short stuff as fast as possible. Like, yeah. Trying to make it to the end. Ah, really? No. I jumped surprisingly precise timing, honestly. No. Trying to get over here, because trying to double jump here actually makes it harder for you to make it through. There we go, and a chasing wall. I mean, as a speedrunner, it doesn't really make much of a difference. And there is a skip here you can do. Normally when you go left, hit the trigger and then go round, but if you set this up just right... Ah, not quite. Yeah, you can just go straight under. Didn't need to do all that screen anyway. Ah, done. There we go. Yeah, and you think, oh, this isn't too bad, it's just straight up needle now. Straight up platforming. Oh, he didn't give me a save. What a nice guy. This screen's not too hard, but like you can mess up by trying to speed yourself up a little by going with the conveyor instead of against it, and accidentally run into spikes, or you can miss the triggers like that. Like, it's not an especially hard room, it's just another, like, time waster. No, because then things like that can happen. Yeah, that sucks. I really wish there was a way to speed this up like there is in True End, but oh well. It is what it is. Oh, nice. Has a few more loops than I normally do. There we go. It's going to be one of the mini spike hell screens later on that we're going to be skipping, and I'll explain that when I get there in the water stage, in stage 6. There we go. Aim on this save is to try to jump as far to the left of these conveyors as you can, because obviously going against them does move very slowly. So you want to try to jump over as much of it as you can, so you don't have to walk against and die at the end of it again. That would be great if we didn't do that, thank you. There we go. This screen isn't especially hard, it's just very choke-worthy for some reason. Like myself and another runner of this game just really have trouble with this screen for some reason. Even though the jumps are relatively similar in terms of how high you have to go. It's like, partially because it's not hard, it's one of those screens that whenever you die, it's just even more frustrating than most screens. Yeah, thanks for that, Moose, I appreciate your concerns. I'm very thankful for your confidence in me there. Ah, come on. Yeah, this is one of those screens that just kind of puts you on edge, unfortunately. There we go. And hard one. There we go. Cool. Still very possible to die on the last two, not too bad. Here's... yeah, that's like the only troll in this game that you don't know about it coming, but it's actually based on your number of deaths. So if it's even, like it was there, then what just happened is what... yeah. What you saw is what happens. But if you have an odd number of deaths, then the spike that you see on the screen originally kills you instead. And yeah, this is kind of like the final screen as far as the game lets you know. So it's like a test of all the things you've done so far. Jump refreshers, conveyor belts, dodging fruit a little bit. And then you make it to the end. Good job. At which point you see a Portal reference, because like, oh, you mean there's fire at the bottom and the game doesn't end? Huh, what's going on here? So yeah, this is the point that you think your game's going to end and then you realise, oh, there's actually like... more. Huh. Yeah, I haven't missed a split yet, just to double check there. Cool. So you ascend this tower and then you get to your next elevator, because for some reason Geezer expected that and put an elevator in its place. You survived the murder and backstabbing trial, I believe he calls it. Ah, really? There we go. So yeah, this is where you find out there's even more backstabbing and attempted murder. There you go, yeah. The next stage is the water stage. In this game, whenever you jump out of the water, you keep your double jump, so you can jump again afterwards, but there's still more jump refreshers anyway. Sometimes water in these games doesn't, but we call this one like good water and the other one like... I want to say bad water, but honestly I get confused on the names sometimes. There's multiple kinds of water. But this is the one that everybody likes for the most part. So yeah, more the same for the most part. This will also be where we're using our first two TNTs. Oops. On one screen, which is basically an auto-scroller, because you gotta wait for the... Thanks, Moose. Because you gotta wait for the water to rise up and down. Why did I... And the other one, because it's just a really slow screen. Ah, this one's always pretty good. Pretty much just timing going to the right. For the most part, it's not too bad, but yeah. It's a relatively short screen. There we go. So yeah, for the most part though, it's just dealing with water. Oh yeah, I didn't mention though, water also actually slows down your full speed. Like normally in fan games when you're dropping, you accelerate up to a certain point. And I Want to Be the Guy fan games, you accelerate up to a certain point and then you just stick with that really fast speed. But in water you just fall relatively slowly, and it's always consistent. Ah, I hate when that happens. Hate how the portal just turns at just the right time to dodge at that when I'm jumping a little too low. Alright, sugar spam everywhere. Let's go. It's pretty much just like, where in the world is the true question mark here? It's like, oh, there you go. Yeah, okay. I guess it's not so bad. And here's chasing the water down. Don't mind the glitchy text, that was unimportant. Totally not something that matters in bad end. If you're trying for any of the other ends, then maybe a little. Ah, come on. some real trouble with that jump today, aren't I? Huh. There we go. And you don't need that jump refresher to get back, so it's fine. So just save a couple of seconds by skipping that thing. Oh. 2 over, 1 over, through. And there we go. And reset for the cycles on this. Because if you go fast, you can actually make it past this quickly, and then, yeah, get past the first one of those a little faster. And I believe we have one more screen before the 2 we bomb in a row. Yeah, here we go. Who doesn't love fruit that chase after you all over the screen? Why fruit murderous? Don't question it. It's just how fan games work. They're just like that sometimes. I mean, have you ever seen a fruit as big as your body? I imagine that would hurt quite a little bit. Quite a bit, yes. Yeah, this is one screen that you actually just can't TNT at all. Like, this might be one of them that you'd really like to if you could, but it doesn't work on, like, death blocks. Here we go. This is the first auto-scroller. The switches just let you able to progress, honestly. But yeah, the only one you need to hit is the question mark at the end so you can hit the wall. And this is really slow as well. The question mark there makes some mini spikes move to the side, again, quite slowly. And you also have to do it backwards. So it saves a lot of time bombing that room. And then, yeah, this is just what it is. You gotta go around. Last screen of the water stage. Not my best attempt at this one, honestly, but oh well, that happens. Ah! Really? Damn. Yeah, I'll show my splits at the end so that whoever is watching can compare this to my PB, but there's going to be a lot of red on there. There we go. Done. I guess 5 minutes isn't too bad. Thank you, Sammy. Okay, stage 7. This is where you get a triple jump by touching a gold star. There are 3 colours of stars in this stage, gold, silver and black. The black one you don't actually see in Bad End, you only see it in the secret and then some of the stuff in Confused and True End. Yeah, the platform itself is pretty much just triple jump and try to dodge things, as always. Last stage is mostly an S because when you bomb something, yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Obviously skipping a couple of screens makes it a little easier to get the equivalent of an S rank. That's why there's a TNT penalty. Ah, no! Barely too low. So yeah. Nothing too different here, it's pretty much just like your regular stuff, just with an extra jump. There we go. And yeah, grey / silver turns you back to double jump only. You can do a little bit of a skip here by not using a double jump on the start of that drop, but the main way to do a fast speedrun of this game is pretty much just don't die. So all the like very small things can be worth it if you're really good, but you gotta make sure you're able to go really fast already by that point. And I'm certainly not at that level quite yet. Yeah, this screen is a little odd. Under the influence. I do wonder if he was actually under the influence when he made that screen. I honestly don't know. Here's Geezer telling us how to go around the screen, although it's not exactly the most difficult to figure out. The next one he just gets bored and says you figure it out for yourself, because he's a nice guy like that. Like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for that, buddy. Good on you. Much appreciated. This screen probably looks a lot worse than it is to a lot of people. You can pretty much stand in certain places for a couple of these jumps, and then just jump and press the side button at the same time and it'll be fine. It still doesn't make it easy, but it certainly makes it a lot easier than like if you had to try to get up close to it and double jump. Really? This is definitely one of the problem screens for a lot of people that speedrun this game. Like, I remember seeing some old runs and this is where people use their TNT instead of the one that I'm going to be using it on this stage. Ah, nice. There we go. Yeah, which is here. So you have to hit the trigger, you go round, hit the bottom right, go back to where the trigger is, go around it, and go to the top. So, yeah. I prefer bombing that screen personally because it's quite a long one. And if you were paying attention on this, one of the early stages, I didn't mention like the names of some of these jumps, but this is like a triple jump version of an F jump. I believe that was in stage 2 that Geezer showed pictures on the side for what they were. So yeah, we have some names for some of the more standard jumps in this game. Obviously aren't showing up now for me to give an example for. Like, no, jump, I guess? Not really, yeah. There you go, like this first jump's called a gate, and then it leads into a diagonal, which leads into another gate. The first couple of jumps in this screen are actually the hardest for me. Doesn't mean you can't die later, though. Stage 4 has the F jumps. Ah, there you go, then. Say the first two are the hard part for me, and yet I'm dying more afterwards. Nice. Yeah. Go around the screen, hit all the triggers, get to the end. There we go. And no choke, thank you very much. I mean, what Geezer said pretty much sums up the screen. Don't think there's anything I need to say about it. Ew. Oh dear. Well then. The screen isn't... I don't know, yeah, there's a lot of screens in this game that aren't hard on their own, but they're very choke-worthy. Like, most people that speedrun this consider this kind of a rough speedrun, just because it's a very fast-paced thing that doesn't really have room for breaks. Like, the few seconds you get in between each stage end is kind of all... doesn't even ever feel like it's enough. Like, you always feel like you need another minute or so or something, just to try to get back into things. I never first tried this room, damn. Oh yeah, jump refreshers can also restore double jump and triple jump in one go. Because Geezer says so. You've got to make sure you get that, otherwise you're not making it up at the end. There we go. And it's not always the case, but at least in this game, red blocks destroy platforms. Because, again, Geezer says so. Do not argue with him in this thing. Like on some of the early stages, the reasons the platforms didn't disappear were because there were just like block holes in the blocks for them to go off screen. Really? There? Man, my practice runs did not help out today. There we go. I'm sure viewers will get some laughs out of the fact that some of these things spell words, some of the platforming. Like the high, the buy, and the one that I just passed, I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting comments about that. By interesting, I mean incredibly predictable. There we go. Cool, that's not too bad still. Seems like it'll be pretty decent so far. Probably in the 50s, I think this run will be, going by the current rate. Right, stage 8. Welcome to physics changes. All that stuff you've finally gotten used to? Didn't need that anymore. Let's get weird on it. So, red in this game is low gravity, and, well, he'll mention the numbers later on the next screen, but yeah, high gravity is 1.75, so your jumps don't go quite as high and you start falling faster. Low gravity, I believe, is 0.5, and the last 2 that this game gives is a slow movement that moves you at 1 pixel a frame instead of 3, and fast movement, which gives you 6 instead of 3. Unfortunately, I can't show you those right now because apparently I'm dying to this screen over and over. Huh. Crud. It's always a pain when you make it through a jump, you double jump in time and you somehow manage to do it too soon. And you bonk and die anyway. What? Always kind of sucky. There we go. Low gravity tends to be easier to deal with than the high gravity, honestly. Ah. But there are exceptions sometimes. There we go. Oh, really? Yeah, that jump at the end is pretty much like the highest jump you can possibly do. Explain V-strings. No, I don't think we need to go into that sort of detail. There's a lot of in-depth stuff you can learn about these kind of games, V-strings being one of them, and subpixels and whatnot, but yeah, you don't need to know about that for the majority of times anybody plays these games. Really? For the most part, knowing that touching certain walls helps you or hinders you, and most importantly above all that, just being able to learn how to jump right, pretty much all you need to know. This screen's kind of a problem screen for me. When you're touching red and blue at the same time, it gives you the blue instead. So it'll give you the high gravity over the low gravity, which for this first jump means you've got to jump at just the right height if you want to get past it. Like, you can full jump to get past it as well, but then it makes trying to get onto the block afterwards a little harder. And here, basically, if you bonk, you die. It's fine on a couple of cases, like the first one and the last jump. But for the rest, if you bonk, you're probably dead. Unless you only barely make it. Ah, that death always sucks. Ah, it's always a shame at the end. Ah, come on. Yeah, this is kind of like one of my problem screens as well. Because you've got to make sure you jump high, but not too high. There we go. This one's a lot of fun though. I got through it surprisingly fast too. Nice. There we go. So the thing about this screen is you've actually got to try to hit the corner of the warp at the end. Otherwise you can't quite make it. There we go. And shortcut here, just touch this wall first, as it makes this thing a lot easier. You can do it with any wall, but like I said, there's bad walls and good walls, and this is the good one. So otherwise the trigger in the top there would move that over so you wouldn't have to deal with it. But trying to get up top is kind of difficult anyway as well, in its own right, so yeah. Faster just go through. Unfortunately, no achievement for doing that corner, like the other one. Yes. The main problem here is this thing, yeah. Second red block, you really can't jump too high. If you touch the blue, you're probably going to die. Trying to make it to the end. And welcome to the slow movement. I mean, people like precision in speedruns, right? So, can't get much more precise than this. They also like speed, so there you go. Both in a single game, what more could you ask for? You won't be able to hear the iconic mashing shift button. Sorry man, I can't help you with that one. Yeah, again, if you're touching green and yellow, then you get yellow. So you get the slow speed over the fast speed. which is great for the spike jumps at the top, but not so great for some of these other things. As the next screen will probably show. I believe it's the next one. Oh, really? Didn't realize my mashing, like how hard I pressed the buttons down came through so clearly sometimes. There we go, jump over you first, don't want speed at that point. And there we go. Yeah, here we go. The slow really can hinder you here if you barely touch it. It's quite annoying, but you can get the hang of it pretty fast. And you can actually miss the jump refresher just before the slow section at the top. But again, not dying is most important in this game for a speedrun, above all else. And this screen totally isn't taken from another fan game. I want to be the guy fan game. It's nerfed a little, but it still works well. Reset for the cycle. It is possible to do this screen without resetting, because the task does it, but it doesn't really speed it up. You still have to like stop in between all the fruit there. So it's just easier to just wait. And you always have to wait for that fruit there. This screen is a real problem for me. Just trying to get onto the second platform. Of course. And for the last part of the drop there, as long as the green's there, like slightly before you touch the spikes, you're probably fine. Like, it's very hard to die to the end if you time it semi-decently. Yeah, welcome to the final 2 screens of this stage. Both like a final test sort of a thing. Like, how well do you deal with the mechanics still? This one's not too bad, the next one's a little harder. I find the green part the hardest part of the screen. Just because, like you can kind of set up the other stuff. Like the yellow, you're moving slowly enough. The blue, you just double jump at the right time. Red, red. Green's just moving to the side quickly is surprisingly difficult. And assuming I'm not focusing on talking, I should get through this relatively fast. Maybe not. Certainly isn't an easy screen though. There we go. It takes some time to realise that you can actually move. Nice. Move left sooner than you think you can on the yellow. Thanks to the slow movement thing. Because normally you try to move further away from the spike before you... There we go. Go backwards. Thanks, Zeno. Finally, the last stage, which is telejumping or something. Geezer isn't entirely sure what to call this either in game. Basically, you turn white, you get a power up that whenever you shoot, you fire a version of yourself. This stage is pretty much the only time shooting's actually like necessary. Like, you need it twice before this, but otherwise, because of the touch saves, it's never used. But here, it's used a lot. So yeah, you shoot yourself, and if your kid dies before the other kid touches the wall, then obviously you still die. If your kid loses the power up, really? Oh, I thought I made that. From touching certain blocks, as you'll see later on. Oh, nice. Then your teleported kid also loses the power up. And that generally means you die as well, so... Yes, you shoot yourself, yes. But for the moment, for the first few screens, it's still trying to get used to how this thing works. So it's giving you time to figure things out. Like bouncing back and forth here. There we go. And then there's this screen. This is pretty much another choke screen, but in a different sense. It's not really all that frustrating if you mess it up. So it's pretty much, did you shoot too low? Did you jump too late when you hit the wall like there? Or did you shoot too early and you weren't quite as far, quite as close from the wall even, as you thought you were? Ah, really? So you just go back and forth like 4 or 5 times here. There you go. You can skip one of the blocks here for the teleport if you shoot this high. Oh, and I didn't think I'd make that. There we go. And Miku. The song is Yevon Polka by Hatsune Miku. There's a game called I Want to Be the Churach, which was very popular when it first came out. Hence the reference. Thankfully, if you do it fast, you don't even hear the lyrics. Thankfully. I don't know. Depends if you like that song or not, I guess. So unfortunately, you don't get to hear much of the song from this stage, because you get that interrupted by the Miku there, on that screen. Oh, really? Huh. And then after you finally start giving it a chance to build up again, you fall over. Cool. I wasn't sure if that would work then. Huh, that would have been interesting. No, come on, no. This isn't the screen I normally mess up on, nice. Last one, there we go. So yes, after you get to build up the song again, you get this screen where if you touch any of the, no white kid images, you lose your kid. You lose the power up, which makes sense. And then the music gets interrupted by this. It's like a very sudden tone shift. Apparently Giza's mental state wasn't quite as good as we thought it was. Don't mind the crazy looking words in the background, they are unimportant. They will not harm you. Hey, 172, this is actually one of the rooms that a lot of people find difficult in the first playthrough, myself included. It's like, it doesn't look all that bad, but trying to make sure you jump high enough to hit the walls while not jumping too soon and hitting the mini spikes is surprisingly difficult. You can mess that up at the end too. There we go. There is a quick cycle you can make on the fruit at the top here, but it's always a little risky to me, so I always try to wait for one more just in case. Like, you can jump back up now and go straight up for it, or you can wait it like I do and then go. This one's kind of cool. Pretty much, whenever you hit things, you lose your power up, as I said earlier. So you've got to try to make sure you land on the power up in the ground before your kid hits the wall. Otherwise you won't be able to walk to the next place. And this is... You know that one screen that on those games you play? It's just like... causes you unnatural amounts of problems, and you don't know why. Like, everyone else seems to get through it really fast, and then you're just stuck on there for like 3 hours. This one's mine. Oh yes, I didn't mention it earlier, it said on the last screen, but fruit kill you even when you're warping. Fruit kill no exceptions, like the game says. So you've always got to make sure you shoot around that. Ah, come on. Spikes are always fine though. Yeah. Unfortunately, the teleporting doesn't work if you're too close to the wall, so you've got to make sure you move away a little first before you try doing that. Come on. Okay, good. Whew. This one's basically an auto-scroller. You're pretty much waiting for the fruit to spin round, so yeah. Effectively an auto-scroller, this screen. There we go, drop down, jump over. Alright, this screen's kind of a hard one. Been having some trouble with it recently. You've got to hit both switches to try to get to the wall. You'd think going to the right switch might be a fast strat, and then going to the left because it's close to the warp, but you actually can't make that jump on the right there. You've got to hit the left switch first. And you can make it. And there is a bit of a quick thing you can do, yeah, like jumping up there, but it's not worth the risk in any case. So, I don't know why I did it, honestly. Yeah, this screen. This is the only screen in the game that has RNG in it. Pretty much there's 5 levels. The fruit you just saw, the fruits of kind of varying size. Next one is shrinking, so it's around like a little smaller than your average fruit by the time it reaches you here. 4 is like the wall of mini fruits, and that's kind of the point that's the hardest in my opinion, because you have to be very precise for trying to get through some of the gaps. And level 5 is more mini fruits from the size of the ceiling, which isn't too bad. Yeah, I'm just going to pay attention for this. Sometimes it's free and sometimes it's a nightmare. Cool. And level 5. This one isn't too bad, at least. Yep. I'm not going to talk through it just in case. There you go. There's been too many times I said, this isn't too bad, it's pretty okay, and then I die, so I didn't want that to happen there. Because dying on the RNG room, as you can probably understand, loses you quite a bit of time. Okay, hit the ceiling, shoot. And don't know why I pressed left so early there. Yeah, I really didn't want to case like level 5 RNGs, like, oh, this isn't too bad, and then I accidentally mess up. I've seen that happen all too frequently for myself. And make sure you're not going to bonk there. And always make sure to save there, because I thought I was going to walk off soon. Yeah, it's way too easy to mess up on the end. Always make sure to save. Ah, a little too low. There we go. So yeah, hit the trigger so you can actually tell her jump to the end. I'm still not sure what to call it. Telewalk or something. And finally, because Geezer's got to get one last thing in, what you thought was the final floor was not in fact the final floor. This is the final floor, because, you know. Ah, crud. Wasn't meant to slip off there. So yes. As a reminder, you get Confused End, which is all the secrets in one final stage, and then True End is everything you've seen flipped upside down. After everything from Confused. Ah, I am not having a good day on the screen, am I? Well. Oh well. There are 2 saves total in this section. It's pretty much just climbing a giant tower. There is a minor skip at the end, but yeah, I'll get to that when I get there. Ah. And that's what I mean about saying, like, it's the case of, hey, you made it past the spice, good job, so you jump, and then you realise you bonked way too early. And it's always incredibly frustrating. Nice. Hitting just above the save there is actually much better than hitting into the save. Firstly, because it means you walk to that place quicker, and secondly, because it means you save on the edge of the save, which is much better for trying to carry on when you die. I mean, it doesn't save that much time, but like a couple of seconds adds up. Which is also why you don't resave on every save, because obviously it would add up and you'll lose a lot of time. Although on some screens it's probably worth it. It doesn't auto-save all the time, you've got to wait a second or two before you can resave. Which is generally why it's done on the corner thing, because you're probably just going to be holding right and mashing it. There you go. Just skip the right side here. It's really not a problem. There's a lot of things people miss, myself included. Wait for the corner. There we go. And this has been On the Needle game. That elevator can take you back to any of the stages. You can also do them at the end of True End if you want to try to get for S ranks, because there's achievements for it. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope you consider this run. Ah, yes. It's not too bad, I guess. Stage 7's really caused me some trouble recently, though. Well, it is what it is. Sub 50 was a good run for me. And I'll let the ending play out just so it can be seen. Thanks for watching.